All right, so we're back and ready for another deep dive. And today we're looking at something I always find super interesting in Journey to the West. You know, you've got your classic characters and crazy adventures, right? But this one, it's got this whole other layer to it. It's the story with those priestesses at the Jingxian nunnery.
Oh, yeah. Definitely one of the more memorable stops on their whole journey to get the scripters, that's for sure. It's like you think they're getting a break after, that whole woman land ordeal.
Right, exactly. And you've got to think, coming out of that place where everything's topsy-turvy, I mean, ruled by women, no men allowed, you'd be on edge, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Like anything could happen. And then, bam, they stumble on this tranquil little nunnery, all peaceful and beautiful.
You know, tucked away in the mountains. And of course, you've got these 10 priestesses there, and they're all gorgeous, offering them amazing food, all vegetarian. But even Tripitaka, who usually falls for that kind of stuff, even he's a little wary.
Yeah, Tripitaka and Jubaji, they're usually pretty easily sweared, right? But not this time.
Nope, something's just not right.
Well, Sun Wukong never one to trust appearances. He sees right through it with those fiery eyes of his. They're not really women, are they? Turns out they're these ancient apricot tree spirits, 10,000 years old. Imagine that.
10,000 years. I mean, you got to think they've had some time to work on themselves, spiritually speaking, right?
Oh, for sure. They're like partially enlightened, but they haven't quite, let go of all those earthly desires. And that's kind of the whole point, right? It's this whole test set up by Guanyin herself to, guide him towards true enlightenment.
Guanyin, yeah, the Bodhisattva of compassion. Not exactly who you'd expect to be setting these kinds of traps, is she?
It's almost like she's saying, look, enlightenment's a journey, not a destination. There's going to be these hurdles along the way, these temptations you got to overcome.
Yeah, it's not just some random test either. I mean, look at their names. Viayan, Miaozi, Miaohava, all these variations on beauty and purity. It's deliberate, right?
Absolutely. Like those names represent the very things they're still clinging to. It makes you think about how we choose to present ourselves, what image we project versus what's really going on inside.
And then there's that whole seduction aspect. It's not just some, base level temptation they're throwing at Tripitaka and Zubaji. It's almost like they're trying to use their beauty, their charm, to actually pull them off the path, away from their whole spiritual goal.
Exactly. Like they're not just after, a cling, they're aiming for the heart of their mission. And you got to admit, the text doesn't hold back. That whole banquet scene, it's lavish, it's sensual, and you really see how even Tripitaka, disciplined as he is, gets kind of caught up in the moment.
That's what makes Wukong so interesting in this whole thing. I mean, he sees what's going on, right? But he doesn't just barge in staff swinging. He plays it cool, pretends to be drunk, eavesdrops on their whole plan.
Classic Wukong, all that cunning and trickery, but ultimately it's about revealing the truth, right?
And once he knows what's up, oh boy, does he let loose. That battle is something else. Wukong in his true monkey form, those spirits throwing everything they've got at him, illusions, natural disasters. It's like the whole world's gone crazy.
And, you can't help but get swept up in the action, right? Wukong's fighting skill, that magical staff, he's unstoppable. But then there's that moment, that climax, where he just burns down all 10 apricot trees. Poof. It's like all those temptations, all that struggle, just gone up in smoke.
Powerful imagery for sure. But then, just when you think it's all over, good guys win, bad guys lose. Here comes Guanyin. Talk about a twist.
Right? Like everything we thought we knew gets flipped on its head. Guanyin explains that these spirits, they weren't inherently evil. They were just, stuck and trapped by those earthly desires they couldn't shake. And the whole thing, even the battle, was part of some bigger plan for their own good.
So even the fighting, the violence, it's all part of this path to enlightenment. That's a tough one to wrap your head around.
Yeah, it really makes you question what we think of as good and bad, doesn't it? And then Guanyin, she uses this holy water to cleanse the spirits, to, free them from those attachments. They're not destroyed. They're actually given a chance to start over, to finally reach true enlightenment. It's pretty powerful stuff.
You said it, this whole story. It's like this whirlwind of deception, temptation, epic battles, and then this ultimate act of redemption. You don't usually find all that packed into one little visit to a nunnery.
It's like a mini journey to the West all on its own. You've got the whole theme of the spiritual journey, all the challenges and struggles, that constant push and pull between illusion and reality. And then in the end, you've got compassion. Guanyin's compassion, showing that even those who stray, even those who make mistakes, can still find their way back.
It leaves you with a lot to chew on, that's for sure. I mean, were those priestesses really evil or just like victims of circumstance? Do they even have a choice in all this, or was it all orchestrated by Guanyin? And then I think the biggest question, what does this whole thing say about us? About our own desires and the illusions we create?
That's the beauty of Journey to the West, right? It throws all these questions at you, makes you think, makes you challenge your own assumptions. And this is just one story. I mean, imagine all the other crazy adventures, all the wisdom and insights waiting to be discovered in the rest of this epic tale. It's a journey worth taking, for sure.